Guys, I had another bizarre video request. RH negative blood type people. All right, first we're going to look at what that means. RH negative women, if they get pregnant with an RH positive child, like with an RH positive father, the child is usually killed within the body. The body attacks it as if it's an invader. So it's very dangerous for RH negative. Sometimes they can have one child, but the second child, and after those, she can't have children again unless she takes medication that will prevent that. Common physical traits are low blood pressure. Sometimes they can have an extra vertebrae as well. High IQs. Tendency toward empathy, feeling other things, and are often sick because of the empathy they feel for others. Sensitivity to heat, not liking extreme, but everybody doesn't like extreme heat. Who does? Light colored eyes, blue or green. Who's got those? Light colored hair, usually red or reddish. I am RH negative. I am not an alien. I am a blood-bought, born-again child of the living God. RH negative people just have a genetic mutation. We don't know where it comes from. They say aliens. I believe the Genesis 6 story about the fallen angels mating with women and creating giants. There's a 21-foot Amorite on display in the 1st century. Josephus, the historian, writes about it and said these were the men of old, men of renown, mentioned in Genesis, that people worshipped in Greece and Rome as gods like Hercules, etc. So, yeah, I believe that. People say we are of alien, that we're not aliens. There's no aliens. There's fallen angels. Who knows? Who knows how the genetic anomaly was started? But we're in a fallen world. There's a lot of genetic anomalies besides RH negative blood. There's all kinds of anomalies. So yes, I am RH negative. I'm not a reptilian. There's a large percentage of the Basque people that are RH negative. It started somewhere in Europe. That's where the majority of it, and they believe it originated somewhere in Europe. And there's a huge community of them between the mountains of France and Spain, where 35% of their people are RH negative. I'm Scandinavian. I am half Scandinavian, at least half Scandinavian. I don't know if we come from Denmark or what, but I'm a Viking. And my other half is Irish, Scottish, Welsh, and English. So I'm a mutt. But I'm very fair-skinned, have always been, always had light eyes, but I had dark hair. My hair is brown. So my son, his father, brown hair, dark black hair, brown eyes. My son is blonde-haired and blue-eyed. Why? Because the RH negative trait is the only time blue eyes supersede the brown. The brown are almost always dominant. But because of my RH negative blood, my son inherited blue eyes and blonde hair, which I believe will become black like my father's. Because most sons inherit their mother's father's hair. And my dad was born white blonde with crystal blue eyes, but when he grew up, his hair was coal black. He looked like Elvis and Rock Hudson had a baby. He looks like Harrison Ford now. He's in his 70s. Still a very handsome man. So it's silly to say somebody with a certain blood type can't be saved because they're descendants of aliens or nephilim or something. God wiped out the Nephilim tribes. Joshua, there was a few stragglers after the flood. The ones before the flood, I believe they were massive. They were compared to cedars, and they were cannibalistic, and it was crazy, and I think that's one of the reasons for the flood. After that, there were some descendants of those giant people, and I think as time they got down smaller, like King Og of Bashan, his bed was between 15 and 18 feet. So he was probably 12 and 14 feet. And we're not talking about just skinny like basketball players. We're talking about brick houses. These guys were massive, strong bones, density of their skulls, like 3 times thicker than a regular person. The bottom jaw was a lot huger. Some of them had double rows of teeth. We found remnants of them. No, RH negative blood are not unsavable. They're not evil. They just have some minor genetic differences. Most of them, you heard, are very smart and very empathetic, and they often get uh, uh, empathetic illnesses, taking on other people's pain. So it's just mean and silly to say that people with Rh negative blood can't be saved or they're unredeemable. I've had people write me a lot. I did a video of this 2 years ago because people were saying, I'm Rh negative. Am I going to be lost forever? Oh, that's crazy. The blood, Jesus died for all human beings, regardless of what genetic anomalies they have. Regardless of where it came from. They don't know where that came from. It was just suddenly introduced sometime and found mostly over in Europe somewhere. We don't know, what happened, but a lot of genetic anomalies occur. So it's just silly to say Rh negative people aren't redeemable, like God doesn't love us. Come on now. Y'all, you can't believe all this crazy conspiracy stuff. I have a supernatural worldview, and I believe what the Bible says, and it's a supernatural book. But we've got to use some discernment here. You don't tell people that Jesus doesn't love them or didn't die for them because they have a genetic difference. It's crazy. All right, guys. God bless.